On May 13th, Ferrari's engineers sat down for a briefing that nobody outside Maranello was supposed to know about. 3 separate problems with the SF-26. All 3 found by the same driver, Lewis Hamilton. After Miami, Hamilton did not just complain, he made a list. The simulator is sending him in the wrong direction. The front-wing design trails every team currently beating them. And the hybrid system is cutting battery power 200 meters before the end of every straight, costing him 3 to 4 tenths before he even touches the brakes. 3 complaints, 3 engineering problems, 10 days before Canada. What makes this story different from the usual driver-team tension narrative is what happened next. Ferrari moved, not publicly, not in press releases. Inside the factory between May 6th and May 14th, engineers were briefed on all 3 issues simultaneously. The deployment software team started work on new energy maps. The simulator correlation team began tracing where the virtual car had split from the real one, and Hamilton made a call that stopped the entire paddock. He is not going on the simulator before Canada at all. If the tool is broken, stop using the tool. It is the most experienced driver on the grid, telling his own team that their main preparation system is making him slower, and the evidence backs him up completely. This story matters because it is not just about one driver's race prep. It is about whether Ferrari is genuinely changing how they develop their car, or just managing headlines while the culture inside stays exactly where it has always been. If you have been following this channel, you know we do not do hype here. We do the actual story, and if that is what you are here for, hit subscribe and the bell. Every video we make starts with the data, not the narrative. Now let us get into what Hamilton actually found. Hamilton's best weekend of 2026 was China, a podium finish. No simulator preparation in the build-up because China followed Australia back-to-back, and there simply was not time. His worst qualifying sessions have all come after heavy simulator work. The pattern is there. Hamilton has clearly joined the dots. After Miami, he said it out loud. The simulator is sending him in the wrong direction. The car the sim shows him does not match the car that shows up at the circuit on Friday. He spends his first practice session chasing a balance that Leclerc finds faster, because Leclerc's driving style happens to sit closer to what the sim is predicting. By the time Hamilton finds the right window, qualifying is already half over. The decision to skip the sim before Canada is both a protest and a practical engineering stance. If the tool is giving you the wrong answer, the correct response is to stop using the tool. But here is the part that goes deeper than one driver's weekend. A simulator is only useful if the virtual car matches the real one. When they split apart, every setup choice made in the sim sends the driver to the circuit with the wrong starting point. More critically, every new part Ferrari designs gets tested in the simulator before it reaches the car. If the sim is copying the wrong car, those parts are being evaluated against a false baseline. The 11 upgrades Ferrari brought to Miami were all validated in a simulator that Hamilton now believes is inaccurate. The damage runs through the entire upgrade chain. When correlation breaks down, the team has to work backwards, rerun wind tunnel tests, rebuild the airflow model from scratch, and wind tunnel hours are capped in 2026. Every hour Ferrari spends figuring out why the sim is wrong is an hour they cannot spend building the next upgrade. This is the vicious loop Ferrari is stuck inside right now, and it started long before Miami. After qualifying 6th in Miami, Hamilton made a specific technical observation that went beyond the usual post-qualifying frustration. He said Ferrari's front wing looks completely different from every team currently beating them. He is right, and independent technical analysis backs him up. The difference is on the front wing end plate, the small vertical panel at the outer edge of the wing. Mercedes, McLaren and Red Bull all run a dive plane on this end plate, a small angled surface that splits the air cleanly around the front tire before the turbulent wake reaches the floor and diffuser. Clean air around the front tire means cleaner air feeding the underbody. Cleaner underbody air means more downforce for the same drag penalty. Every tenth of downforce gained there is effectively free performance. Ferrari's end plate is the simplest design among the front-running teams. The front edge sits further forward than the leading edge of the wing itself, a geometry that no other front-running team uses anymore. Ferrari did bring a new dive plane element as part of the 11-part Miami package. Hamilton's complaint is not that they failed to act, it is that the step was too small. 3 rival teams have been refining their approach across 4 races, tweaking the angle, adjusting the geometry, improving the interaction with the brake ducts and front suspension. Ferrari tried it once, the gap remains. The honest complication is that copying a rival's end plate geometry is dangerous without understanding the complete airflow picture underneath. An end plate that works on the Mercedes W17 might behave completely differently on the SF-26 because the 2 cars manage front tire wake differently throughout the lap. Ferrari's engineers have been briefed. A completely new front wing design for Canada is almost certainly off the table. That kind of rethink takes months of CFD and wind tunnel work. Barcelona is the realistic earliest target. What Canada will show is a revised setup approach that extracts more from the current wing, while the deeper design work continues back at Maranello. This is the problem Hamilton has been calling out on team radio since Japan, and it is the one that will hurt most in Montreal. During the Miami Grand Prix, Hamilton made at least 5 separate radio calls to the Ferrari pit wall about the same issue. No power on the straights, massive derating, more battery, every call went unanswered with anything that fixed it. Here is what derating actually means in 2026 terms. The car ahead, still on full power, pulls away. Hamilton's data shows Ferrari's hybrid system is cutting battery power approximately 200 meters before the end of each straight. 200 meters of every straight where Hamilton is losing speed while the car ahead is still gaining it. The gap adds up to 3 to 4 tenths per straight. Over a full Grand Prix distance, that is a built-in performance deficit baked into every single lap. And here is what makes it worse. Hamilton flagged the exact same pattern at Suzuka in March. Same radio calls, same data trace. 2 races later, no fix. Miami did not reveal a new weakness. It confirmed a problem that has existed since at least race 3 of the season. Ferrari's response before Canada is a software update to the energy deployment maps. The target is a gain of 6 kilowatts in how long the battery sustains power per straight. Whether 6 kilowatts closes a 3 to 4 tenth gap, that is the question Canada's speed traps will answer within the first hour of free practice. Watch the casino straight data. It will tell you everything about whether Ferrari's fix is real or just a patch. Drop a comment below. Do you think Ferrari can close this gap before Belgium? Canada was already a difficult circuit for Ferrari's current weaknesses. The circuit Gilles Villeneuve is built almost entirely from long straights linked by tight chicanes and one famous hairpin. Cars hit over 330 kilometers per hour. Time spent at full throttle ranks among the highest on the calendar. Batteries drain almost completely on every straight. If Ferrari's deployment cuts out 200 meters early at Miami, Montreal makes that problem worse across more long flat-out stretches per lap. The casino straight alone runs over a kilometer of full throttle. If the clipping point has not moved since Miami, every car with a working battery will pass Hamilton before the braking zone at the end of that straight. And then there is this. Canada 2026 is the first time in history this race has been run as a sprint weekend. The format changes everything. Friday is one free practice session followed immediately by sprint qualifying. Saturday is the sprint race, then Grand Prix qualifying. Sunday is the race. Hamilton gets one practice session. 1. If the deployment software is not working correctly from the very first lap of free practice, there is no second Friday session to try again. No extra hour to find the setup window. No chance to course correct before sprint qualifying. Whatever Ferrari brings to Montreal has to work from the opening minutes of FP1. Under the sprint format, every weakness gets exposed faster and earlier, and Mercedes is bringing their biggest upgrade package of the season to this specific race. The gain is estimated at 3 tenths per lap. Front wing changes, new carbon covers on the front suspension, a reworked floor, a lighter gearbox. Mercedes held this package back from Miami deliberately, because they knew Canada rewarded straight-line speed more than any other circuit on the calendar this side of Monza. McLaren are also bringing more updates. The gap between Ferrari and their rivals was already real before Miami. By Sunday evening in Montreal, it may be significantly larger, or if Ferrari's fixes are real, meaningfully smaller. There is no middle ground at a circuit built entirely out of the places where Ferrari hurts most. Here is the deeper question underneath all 3 of Hamilton's complaints. Is Ferrari genuinely changing how they develop the SF-26, or are they managing a public relations situation while the culture inside stays exactly where it has always been? The evidence for genuine change is real. Ferrari moved on all 3 issues simultaneously within 10 days of Hamilton going public. That is not a slow bureaucratic response. That is a team reacting to specific driver feedback at speed. Hamilton's influence here is not subtle. He is openly steering this team's development priorities in front of cameras and microphones after qualifying, where every rival can hear exactly what Ferrari's problems are, and Ferrari is responding publicly rather than pushing back. Compare that to how the team operated before Vasseur. Carlos Sainz spent his final season at Ferrari feeling unheard. The engineering side ran its own program. Drivers got their setups and ran them. Nobody asked them to question the thinking behind the parts. Hamilton works on completely different terms. 105 race wins, 7 world championships, a career built on precisely the kind of sharp, usable technical feedback that Mercedes rebuilt entire development programs around during their dominant era. When Hamilton says the front wing looks wrong, it forces action. When he refuses to use the simulator, it sends a message the entire factory cannot ignore. But there is a distinction worth making. Ferrari responding to Hamilton's complaints and Ferrari agreeing with Hamilton's read are 2 different things. Vasseur said Miami was a step in the right direction. Hamilton said the car has deep design gaps against 3 rival teams. Both things can be true simultaneously, and both readings being present inside the same team is either healthy tension or managed conflict, depending on which direction the data points after Canada. The speed traps on the Casino Straight will give the first real answer. If Hamilton's SF-26 is losing power at the same point as Miami, 200 meters before the end, Ferrari's software fix was not enough, and this season is about to get significantly harder. If the clipping point has moved even by 100 meters, something real happened in Maranello between May 6th and race day. That is the number to watch, not the race result. The speed trap. Canada does not decide the championship, but it decides something more important for Ferrari right now. Whether they are a team that hears their driver and actually changes, or a team that manages the story and stays the same. F1 Perspective will be watching every speed trap from Montreal. You already know where we are.